officers say this lieutenant, John McKenna, was their abuser. He's currently suspended with pay. Sergeant John Minicapelli says it started when he worked with the lieutenant in the motorcycle unit in 2017.
You know, he would always make comments about how good my backside looked in my motorcycle pants.
The sergeant says it escalated.
On one occasion, touched me, and on a second occasion, he grabbed me by my groin.
Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Monday, June 14th, 2021. Time is 5:35 p.m. Yes, Jersey time. Nothing's changed. Still in New Jersey. Well, we have another Blue Zero Hero story coming out. This time, some police officers are the victim of a Blue Zero Hero. This is the third time I'm making this video because I kept coming across another article. I had more information on it. So anyway, this one's reported on NBCNewYork.com, and it reads as follows. 2 male New Jersey town police officers allege supervisors sexually harassed and assaulted them. Here it is. And this was reported on June 8th, 2021. And let's read and find out what this fine, upstanding, well-trained hero. That's very important that you all remember that this lieutenant that we're about to talk about is a well-trained hero. He's a professional, and he is out risking our lives every day as he protects and serves the community. Though as a lieutenant, he's not out there as much, but nonetheless, he's still risking all for us. We should just get on our knees and thank our Heavenly Father up there for his service. So let's find out what the story is, because I'm sure, once again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it has to be a misunderstanding. It's not what it sounds like. 2 male officers in a New Jersey town have come out with the same stunning accusation against a supervisor, alleging he sexually harassed and assaulted them. Well, this happens to be South River Police Department, little dinky town. Veteran officers John Minicapelli and Joe Giamano both work for the South River Police Department. They have something else in common they wish they didn't. Alleged sexual abuse at the hands of a superior officer. Minicapelli and Giamano claimed that Lieutenant John McKenna was their abuser. Minicapelli said it started when he worked with the lieutenant in the motorcycle unit in 2017. He would make comments about how good I looked in my motorcycle pants. Ooga! The officer said, adding that it escalated from there. On one occasion, he touched me, and another he grabbed me. Ooh. My, oh my. He grabbed me by my groin, and I had to push him away. Push? You should have clocked him upside his head and arrested him. Sexual assault on a police officer. Minicapelli told NBC News New York that he experienced a flood of emotions since the alleged incident, from anger to shame. He said he kept it all secret until McKenna, by chance, was moved to the Detective Bureau. In that position, he started supervising Giamano, who has an almost identical story of the alleged abuse. Well, you must have, why are you keeping it to yourself? You got to tell that, you know, this is not to put gay people down, but this is how you handle a guy like that. That's a predator. That's not a gay man, that's a predator. You got to tell that guy, dude, you touch me again, I'm going to F you up. I'm going to check you. That's how you have to handle it, because whether you're a man or a woman, you don't go around grabbing somebody's private parts, especially when it's a coworker. First, it started with sexual harassment. He would imitate like he was masturbating in his pants. I would tell him, you're creeping me out, said Giamano. Again, why aren't you checking him? Say, dude, what the F? Knock that shit off, man. I don't roll that way.
Come on, man. Is the sun getting to you?
In June 20, Giuliano said he too was sexually assaulted by the lieutenant. He met me at the door, he grabbed my groin and squeezed it. I jumped back and said, "What the F are you doing?" Giuliano alleged, and he laughed. He wouldn't laugh. You know, I would say, you do that again, you won't be laughing. But in my complaint, it said it was for grabbing my testicles and causing me pain, which is what happened. Giuliano said Minicapelli faced different obstacles that would prevent charges altogether. They refused to charge on my behalf because they said the statute of limitations had passed. That fractured me, he said. I'm the victim of sexual assault and the statute of limitations has not passed on that. An attorney for the lieutenant, oh, get ready, here we go. The attorney for the lieutenant told NBC News New York that McKenna maintains that any allegations of inappropriate touching, assault, or harassment is fiction. Well, it comes down to one man's word against two men. Two men. Both officers went out on paid medical leave shortly after word spread in their department about the abuse claims. Minicapelli said he had a full-blown panic attack one day at work, while Giuliano said he's become ostracized by his colleagues. I feel I have been victim shamed and have been outcasted by my own department, he said. Giuliano says the criminal case kept being postponed, and this past March, the county prosecutor's office told him in a text, "We do not believe we can obtain a conviction for harassment. We will be dismissing that charge." Well, in a criminal complaint, there has to be guilty beyond reasonable belief. Meaning, you got to prove 100%. On Tuesday, the two men filed civil lawsuits against the South River Police Department, naming the chief and the lieutenant. The chief referred NBC News New York to the prosecutor's office, which declined comment. "My clients are going to take this to the end," said the officer's attorney, Juan Fernandez. "They want a trial and they want to be heard so this doesn't happen again." Minicapelli said he has a theory as to why their case hasn't been treated the same as others. And I tend to believe this. Men are usually the victim. It's female victims, and that's why I believe we've been mistreated this whole time, he said. Probably because the way men handle these problems is not the same way women handle these problems. A way a man handles the problem and another man is overstepping the line is you have to check them. And usually the checking is through physical force. Now, some dude, I'll give you an example. Some dude I'm working with is trying to get gay with me or something. I'm going to say, "Dude, you need to knock it off, okay? I'm not down with it. I'm not interested in you. You need to stop." And that's the polite way of doing it. If he continues to do it and takes it to a level of touching, that's when the minute he touches, you got to respond with a clock him upside the head type of deal or kick him in his nuts, whatever it's going to be. That's how men deal with that problem. Now, this is interesting because these are police officers, and what would happen if a male police officer grabs another male, unwelcomely grabs another male's private parts, and that other male hits him upside his head and checks him? How does that work? Because what's the offending officer going to do? Go file a complaint against him? Because then the other officer's going to say, "Well, I hit him upside his head because he grabbed my nuts." I'm not going to stand there and take that. Both said they want to get their stories out there in order to shatter stereotype, including perception about men in blue. "We're always consoling the victim. We never believe we're going to be victims. At least that's how I feel," Minicapelli said. And one of these officers, as you're going to see in the video that I attached with this, is the one officer there. He ain't no lightweight. This guy's arms are like, they're like 22-inch arms. He's a big guy. I mean, he wouldn't even have to punch that lieutenant. He could just grab him by the neck and squeeze it. The other officer's not a big guy. "I know the truth. I know what happened to me. I'm not going to sit back and hide," said Giuliano. "I'm not going to be ashamed anymore." Well, I don't think you need to be ashamed. I think if anything, you just be mad at yourself for not checking it. Or maybe try to get a situation where you could catch them on camera doing it. As long as the department's current administration stays in place, the two officers said they're not sure they can ever go back to work there with just too many painful memories plaguing their minds and well-being. So my question is, how many times did this crap happen that he's got all these memories going on there? Well, once again, what's going to happen, because this happened while they were on township property in the course of their duties, and this other officer, lieutenant, was doing it while he was in uniform. So what's going to happen is, because the chief is named in the lawsuit, because I'm reading different articles and they're all giving you different information, but the chief is named in it. I believe the mayor is named in it. The town itself is named in it. The police department is named in the lawsuits. And what's going to happen is, it's going to get settled. That's what's going to happen. First, the lawyer's going to make a few bucks off the deal, and then they're going to sit down and they'll go to arbitration, or they'll sit down and have a talk, and money will be paid out. And once again, a bad cop will not be held responsible for anything he did. No doubt the lieutenant has his time in. I'm sure he's got his 20 years in, and if push comes to shove, he will step down and retire. As far as the other officers, I don't know how much time they got in. Maybe the chief steps down and maybe they can get back in. It's just unfortunate that these officers have to go to work and deal with this crap. And let me just mention this. When you go to civil court, it's a preponderance of evidence. It's not like criminal court. You have to be proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. In civil court, all you got to do is prove 51% and you are the winner. You win the lawsuit. And seeing how you have two officers, I think it will rule in their favor. These officers did, in another article I read, they did go to the chief, and the chief said to them, well, you know how McKenna is. And I would say that implies that everybody knows McKenna likes men, and he has a problem controlling his private parts. It's connected to his brain, and he's behaving like this on the job. I think it's very inappropriate. And let me just say, I had a similar experience. Well, nobody ever grabbed on me or anything like that, but when I was 21 years old, I worked for Kmart in West Long Branch. And back in the days, I'm a short, skinny guy with red hair, and I get a job there, and I'm working in the men's department, and right across the aisle is the appliance department. There's this guy there, let's just say his name was Ed. And Ed would always be out in the aisle in his department looking over at me, just looking at me, and always trying to talk to me. The guy was like in his early 50s. You could tell something wasn't of the norm with him. Now, this is 1981, so these things are a little more hush-hush at that time. Not like now where all the gay people are out waving their flags at everybody. Hey, look at me, look what I do. And I remember in one instance, I went to go to the employee bathroom, and he followed me. And I was uncomfortable. I was like, I saw him come, so I think I went into the stall. That's what I did. In another instance, the guy invited me, says, oh, would you like to come over for some pizza and soda? And I'm like, nah, dude, I ain't gonna roll that way, you know, right? And I remember asking other employees there, I said, what's this deal with this guy Ed? Is he I think I said, is he a homo, or is he gay or something? What's up with him? And everybody said, well, no, he's married, or he's got a girlfriend or something, and he's a minister at a church. You know, as an older man, I look back, that doesn't matter. There are plenty of gay men out there that are married because of social pressures at the time, and they got married. Now they just keep it in the closet and do whatever they do on the side. But I remember how uncomfortable I felt, because I remember at the time, it's not something I would go in the office and say, hey, that guy Ed over there is following me to the bathroom. I just dealt with it my own little way. I know eventually I transferred out of the men's department and I got a job working out in the auto repair shop. So I was away from him at that point. I didn't really have to interact with him as much, but I know what it's like. you're in a position where you can't do anything or you feel helpless to do anything. I mean, now if that happened, I would just say, hey, look, man, it ain't happened, all right? So you need to stop. And that would be it. That would be the end of it. Because really, that's how, whether you're gay, it's a gay man or a straight man, that's how you handle it. And this is my recommendation to women. You got a man bothering you, you got to be very direct with men. And that's my advice to those officers. You got to be very direct. And none of those statements did they ever tell that lieutenant to knock it off, which is what they should have done. The minute that man, was acting inappropriately, they should have said, look, dude, I'm not interested. I don't know what you're up to. Knock it off, don't do it anymore, we're gonna have a problem. And that's the way you handle it, whether it's a gay man or a straight man bothering a woman. You gotta be very direct with men, because sometimes men just don't get it. They're always looking to say, oh, well, if you met today, that doesn't mean I can't tomorrow, and you didn't tell me no, you just said, hey, you're creeping me out. Creeping me out is not the same as saying knock it off. All right, so here we go again. Another Blue Zero Hero creep. It's going to cost the taxpayers money, and it's just another reason we need to remove qualified immunity, make these officers get their own liability insurance, license them, and hold them personally responsible for their actions. So in a case like this, where this lieutenant's going to get sued along with the town and the mayor, that the town is not solely going to have to pay out on this, the lieutenant will. But my prediction in this situation, I think the lieutenant will step down. That'll be part of the plea deal. If he's got his 20 years in, he'll retire, and maybe those officers will get their jobs back there. And in the meanwhile, I don't know how I guess they're on administrative leave. I don't know what the deal is. And for those other officers out there ostracizing them, this is just another example of how a good officer, I don't know if they're good officers, bad officers, let's just assume they are good officers and they're trying to do the right thing. And you got these other officers that are not backing them up. And I would say any of those other officers out there that were ostracizing those two officers, they should be part of the complaint too. Because that's not the way you do things. If I'm working with a co-worker and they say to me, hey, Joe over there has been bothering me, and another one says, yeah, Joe's been bothering me, you got to support them. And if they're your colleagues and you like them and they're your friend at work, you got to support them. Maybe those other colleagues are on the same team as a lieutenant. Things to make you go, All right, so I will put this link in the description. I'll put a couple other links here because there's different information in each one of the stories that I read. So you can get the whole thing, and it's a video which I'm sure you'll see at some point in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Gunnison Undercover. I post many stories there that I don't always do on video. And I will make announcements, whatever. It's a place where I can just post things really easy, and you can read it at your leisure. All right, people. Till next time.
Was assaulted.
He immediately grabbed my groin and squeezed it. I jumped back, and my first thing was, what the F? What are you doing?
It sound right, boys.